Hello everyone, and a big welcome to day 2 of the Passive Income Project. Now, before we get started on this lesson, it's going to be amazing because we are talking all about the 5 pillars of passive income. But before we get started on this lesson, make sure you have watched video 1 because these are meant to be done in sequence. So to get the most out of the challenge, definitely go back, watch number 1, and then come back here. Now, today we are talking about video. We are talking about templates, printables, clip art, and written, those are the 5 pillars that I teach. The reason I teach these 5 is because I have found them to be the most lucrative in terms of how much money they make, and also the easiest to sort of get started with. So I'm going to jump across to the screen share now. I'll see you in there. So today we are talking all about the 5 pillars of passive, and those are basically the 5 sort of categories that I put everything that I like to sell into. Those are the 5 sort of ways that I like to make passive income online personally. Now, yesterday you will have completed your skill audit, which is, I hope that was a lot of fun and you actually have a little bit more insight into your capabilities now. You probably have all these wonderful skills that you didn't even know that you had, so that's really exciting. But now you've got those skills listed, what are you actually going to make with them? Now, just before we get started on this lesson, I wanted to let you know that I'm going to upload this slide deck to the Facebook group after we're finished because there's a lot of information in here, so don't stress too much about taking notes as we go through. I will upload the slide deck at the end into the guides section in the Facebook group. Now, the 5 pillars of passive are: number 1, templates; number 2, printables; number 3, clip art; number 4 is written; and number 5 is video. I'm going to break all of the pillars down so you have a bit of an understanding about what is involved in each one, and I've also rated them for you today because I think this is important to sort of know what's involved in each one so to help you make your decision on what you're going to sell. So I've rated them on how quick they are to make, because obviously we are trying to protect our time if we're going to go down this road. How profitable they are, because that is also important. We want to be going in and we want to be making a decent amount of money, like to pay us back for the time that we're investing in this, hopefully. And also how easy they are to get started. So basically the barrier to entry, if we have to buy software, equipment, things like that. Now, number 1, templates. This is a personal favorite of mine. 90% of what I sell are templates, and yeah, I find that they're, especially at the moment, they are quite a hot product. They're very, very popular. So a template is an editable design that the end user can customize to suit their needs. Now, in terms of customizing it, it could be like a wedding invitation and they download the template that you've designed and they put all their own details into it. Or it could be a social media kit where they can change the brand colors and change all the wording. Things like that are all templates because the user is making changes to the product after they have purchased it to make it a little bit more customized for what they need. Now, in terms of rating this pillar, I put it as quite profitable because they are very popular at the moment. People love the flexibility that they offer, and they can actually save people a lot of money because they don't have to go to a graphic designer to actually spend a lot of time with a graphic designer, pay a lot of money to get something one-off. They can just sort of buy a template which is a little bit more affordable to them. So they are very profitable at the moment. They are reasonably quick to make. They're not super quick to make. Obviously, you are investing time and you're thinking about how the end user is going to use them. So all of that kind of plays a role in how quick they are to make. And to get started, they are very easy to get started. You do need a little bit of software. So if you are going to make a template, you will usually need like a bit of software like Canva. Template is another one for invitations. Cordial is another one. Some people sell templates for Photoshop, some people sell templates for Adobe Illustrator. There's lots of different ways that you can do it. Now, the pros for this pillar are that they are very popular at the moment. The cons are they are, as I mentioned before, a little bit time consuming to make because you do have to think about how the user is going to use them. Now, here are some ideas for templates, and this is not the complete list because obviously there are so many things that you can make. It's really down to what you can think of, but some ideas are logos, social media templates, wedding invitations, baby shower invites, thank you cards, family Christmas cards, stickers and labels, template resources for niches, business cards, website banners. And I've got some examples here of some of the templates. So as you can see, there's a birthday invitation, welcome sign. There's like a little label there that people can put on the hand sanitizers, loyalty cards, welcome packs. We've got a big logo pack here. editable highlights for Instagram. Highlights are very, very popular at the moment. Etsy banners, we've got a baptism invite, and social media posts, which are done in Canva. So moving on to pillar number 2, we are talking about printables now. Now, printables are a little bit similar to templates. If you look at them side by side, it can be a little bit hard to tell the difference, but the difference is that printables are not editable. They are a digital resource that can be printed at home or at a shop by the customer. So now, in terms of rating this pillar, they tend to fall in the lower sort of region of profitability. They are definitely sort of the lowest earning out of the 5 pillars because I guess they are not editable. So yeah, there's sort of that is sort of the downfall of printables. But the plus side is they are very, very quick to make, and it's very, very easy to get started with them because you can use the free version of Canva to create whatever you want. Now, the pros are as well that you, once you've set it up once, it's very hands-off. Like you don't have customers kind of messaging you being like, I don't know how to use the templates, I don't know how to edit the templates, because they aren't editable. Once they sort of download them, they just print it and they're done. The cons are though, generally they are that lower price point. So that is something to consider, but they are a great way to get started. Now, some ideas for printables are wall art, calendars, planners, inspirational quotes, baby shower games, baby milestone cards, envelope liner templates, activities for kids, and even craft projects with instructions on how to make special crafts. And here are some examples of printables. So we've got some wall art over here. We've got some season-specific wall art. We've got a baby predictions card. We've got a calendar. We've got a quote that people can print off and put on their wall. Okay, moving on to pillar number 3, clip art, which is another one of my favorites because it is quite creative. So clip art are digital designs, artwork and photography, which are sold and licensed to users, usually for commercial use. Now, when we are thinking clip art, we are thinking like photography, so stock photography, or things like watercolor florals, illustrations that people can use in their books or on their posters, things like that. So in terms of profitability, they are a very, very profitable niche to get into. And the massive pro of clip art is that you can really build a customer base which is going to return again and again and again. And I've noticed that this industry is only getting bigger and bigger because there's a lot of digital product sellers sort of coming on and they all need clip art. So in a way, Etsy has kind of turned it into its own little ecosystem where all the invitation sellers and printable sellers, they come over and buy their clip art there as well. So that is definitely something to think about. They are not quick to make, so that is the downfall of clip art, but if you are patient and you enjoy making it as well, it might be the one for you. And in terms of getting started, they're quite easy to get started. You probably just need a scanner, or you can, if you have a really good camera, you can take a photo of your drawings and scan them in that way. Now, in terms of ideas for clip art, we have SVGs, watercolor florals, which are massive. I cannot express how big watercolor florals are, especially for the wedding industry. It is a crazy, crazy sort of genre that, yeah, it's exploded online. So that is a big one, watercolor florals. Vintage PNG clip art, textures, fonts, calligraphy, illustrations, mock-ups, stock photography. So stock photography is a huge one as well. A lot of people need stock for even just their social media. They like to buy sort of like stock to put on their Instagram and things like that. So here are some examples of clip art. So we've got some cute little illustrations over here. We've got some SVGs. This one here is a vintage, oh, I think it might be a photo that they've photographed all the florals and then they've put it into Photoshop and sort of tweaked it a little bit. So it's a beautiful one. We've got just someone's ripped up some paper and scanned that one in. It's quite a popular thing to do. We've got some calligraphy, which they've turned into a font. An art background, so that's sort of like a texture as well. We've got a mock-up over here, so someone's taken a picture of a blank piece of card and an invitation seller would buy this product and put their own design in there. So that is a mock-up. And here is just a stock photo. So that's an example of the type of thing people would want to buy and put on Instagram. Number 4, written. Now, I've had a lot of people sort of saying in the group, what if I'm not creative? What if I don't know how to draw? if you know how to write, this might be the one for you. And this is a really huge one because not everyone loves copywriting. People kind of love copywriters because, yeah, if we don't like copywriting, we come to you and you do it for us. So this is a really, really cool one. So copywriting and text-based templates that are for customers to use and edit. Now, in terms of profitability, this one is in high demand because it is quite niche. They are, no, they're not super, it depends what you're making. Like if you're making a Trello board with sort of like conversation starters, that might be a little bit time consuming. If you're just writing a blog to sell, that might be a little bit faster. So they're sort of like right in the middle in terms of how long they take to create. Easy to get started. And in terms of how easy it is to get started, well, if you have access to a computer, you can sort of write something. So yeah, it can be quite easy. The big con of this one is obviously when you are selling something written, it can be quite hard for the buyer to visualize what you're selling them. So one, you really need to brainstorm pain points. So the things that the buyer really, really wants and the things that you can fix for them. And then two, you need to actually communicate how your product really solves that. So you can do that with a landing page. You can do that with really, really high quality sort of product images, lots of explanation and things like that. Beautiful. So some ideas for written. We've got email templates, pre-written blogs, social media captions, workbooks and worksheets, manuals, ebooks. And I've got some great examples of some written products. So we've got Roberta West's Launch in a Day, which is really cool. She's got a Trello board and it's got like lots of tick boxes in there, and it's sort of like how to launch. That is the pain point that one fixes. It's got workbooks and lots of really cool content like that. We've got Nikki Clark's Stories That Sell. That is a very, very popular product. And what she's done is she's created a whole series of sort of like captions to go with Instagram posts that people can edit. So it'll be like name here, and then she'll have a sentence. So they're kind of like social media prompts. We've got Monica Snyder's Relationship and Revenue, which I bought this one and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. She has written all these emails that you can sort of just edit yourself. So that is a really, really cool one. Email nurtures are something that some people do really struggle with. So having templates and selling those templates can be really, really valuable to other people. Then we have Spencer Washington's Pro Writer Plus. So that is another one where he's produced a whole heap of content and he is selling it. Okay, we're up to pillar number 5, which is video. And this is one that some people love and some people really hate. It depends like who you are and whether you like to be on screen. It is a very, very powerful tool though. And if you can sort of learn it, it can really sort of like skyrocket your business. So it's an amazing one. Now, typically it's either sold in a course format or as content where royalties are paid. So in terms of the royalties being paid, that is like a platform like Skillshare or even YouTube where they're selling advertising on your content. Now, in terms of rating this pillar, I have put it as the most profitable because people sort of see video courses as extremely valuable. They are really, in terms of everything that we've talked about today, they hold the highest price point because they are an education tool. So they are very, very profitable. In terms of quick to make, they're not very quick to make. They're quite time consuming to make, but yeah, again, they are profitable. So you've got to weigh that up. And in terms of ease to get started, technically you can just sort of shoot on a webcam, but typically you will need like some equipment. So you'll need some equipment, you'll need some editing software, probably some lighting. So there are some setup costs involved. So obviously the pros are that it's a higher price point and the cons are that it requires some equipment most likely. Now, some ideas for videos. So we've got mini course, large course or program, YouTube videos, Skillshare course, masterclass, workshop, memberships. Okay, so some examples of video. We've got Trello for Business by Boss Project, which is a mini course and it teaches people how to use Trello. So that's a really great idea, teaching someone to use some software that you know how to use. We've got Amy Porterfield's List Builders Society. So that's a higher sort of price point in terms of a course, and I think it goes for 5 weeks or something, but it's all automated. It's an evergreen course that she sells. We've got Amy's YouTube channel, which is amazing. Like, she creates a lot of content and she obviously makes revenue from the ads and can also sort of upsell from her content to other areas, which is a really cool thing to do. Then finally we have Grace Lever's The Doer's Way membership. So she has a whole heap of videos that she's already created and video courses, and she has them in her membership. And what she does is you pay a membership fee, and then every month you get access to a new course. You can choose from her sort of buffet of courses. So that's a really cool one as well. So your challenge. You need to decide which pillar appeals to you the most. So after this presentation, go to your workbook and sort of think about which pillar is most appealing to you. Okay, so before we jump into actually listing the products that we're going to be making, I want you to quickly have a brainstorm about all the previous jobs that you've ever done. Now, you might sort of ask, why is this important? It's kind of a bit of a weird thing to do. The reason is good products solve problems. They make life easier, they save time, and they bring joy. And you always make the best products when you sort of understand what your client needs. You can understand sort of what makes them upset, if something would make it easier for them. And obviously, when you have worked in a job before, you have a really unique understanding of what that job involves and the resources that would make it easier. So this is it's a gold mine. It's an amazing thing. So I really want you to sort of brainstorm and utilize that if you can. So once you've done that, I want you to rough out some ideas for your products which complement your skills and fall into your chosen pillar. Finally, if you're feeling really brave, post your 3 ideas in the group and ask everyone which one they love the most, because that is so valuable, having that feedback. And this is a really safe place. The group is a private group. No one else is going to see it. It's really, really valuable to be able to get that feedback. So I definitely encourage you to do that. This is the end of the lesson for today. I will see you guys tomorrow where we are talking all about driving traffic to our offers. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for watching the screen share, and I hope that you learned something. You've taken a lot away from this because there's a lot of nuggets in there. So I can't wait to see which one of these appeals to you most, because everyone has one that sort of appeals to their abilities and stands out to them. I'll see you in the next challenge. So see you tomorrow, guys. Bye.